If you're studying for the Azure AI 900 exam, you've likely encountered the challenge of distinguishing between the workspace, the studio, and the designer. These three terms often overlap in introductory materials, leading to unnecessary confusion. By the end of this video, you will be able to categorize each tool by its specific function and select the correct one in the scenario-based questions found on the exam. Azure Machine Learning is a significant portion of the AI-900 curriculum. Mastering these core components is a requirement for anyone looking to secure their certification. We are going to break these concepts down step by step. You do not need a background in data science or software engineering to follow this logic. At the highest level, Azure Machine Learning is a comprehensive cloud service. It functions as an online laboratory for building, training, and deploying models, which means you can perform complex data science tasks without any local hardware setup. For example, if you want to predict house prices based on size and location, you would use this service to upload your data, train an algorithm to recognize patterns, and ultimately host that model as a web service. When an exam question focuses on the holistic end-to-end lifecycle of a machine learning project, Azure Machine Learning is the intended answer. To begin any project, you must first establish an Azure Machine Learning Workspace. This is the mandatory starting point and serves as the central hub for your entire team. Think of the workspace as a master project folder. It is the container that stores and tracks every asset you create, including your raw datasets, your experiment logs, and your finalized models. Because the workspace provides the underlying organization and security for your project, you cannot initiate any machine learning activities until this container is created. Once you have a workspace, you need a way to interact with it. That is the role of Azure Machine Learning Studio, a visual interface accessed through your web browser. Studio is the dashboard where the work actually happens. You use it to upload data, start training runs, and monitor experiments to see how your models are performing, all from a centralized portal. To keep these distinct, if the workspace is the storage room where your project lives, the studio is the control panel you use to operate everything inside that room. On the AI-900, identify Studio whenever a scenario describes the need to manage or monitor machine learning assets through a visual interface. Located directly inside the Studio is a specific tool called the Azure Machine Learning Designer. This is a zero-code authoring environment. In the Designer, you build models by dragging functional modules onto a canvas. You connect a dataset block to a training block, then to an evaluation block. Like building blocks, snapping these modules together creates sophisticated machine learning pipelines without writing underlying code. For exam purposes, the Designer is the answer for any scenario that specifies building or training a model through a drag-and-drop or visual process without programming. To summarize, the workspace provides storage, the Studio provides the management interface, and the Designer provides no-code building tools. In practice, this linear workflow moves from creating the workspace to managing in Studio, building in Designer, and deploying to the cloud. In your exam scenarios, storing assets equals workspace, monitoring tasks equals Studio, drag and drop equals Designer. Applying these distinctions allows you to isolate the correct Azure tool even when the exam questions use complex or overlapping descriptions. Let's verify this understanding with a few questions formatted similarly to those on the AI-900. Question 1. Which component is used to store and organize datasets, models, and experiments in one place? The answer is C, the Azure ML Workspace. Question 2. Which tool allows you to build and train a machine learning model by connecting visual modules? The correct answer is C, the Designer. Question 3. Which interface should you use to monitor the status of your training experiments and deployments? And the correct answer is A, the Studio. To continue your preparation, you can find detailed study guides and mock tests in the description below. Distinguishing between the storage of the workspace, the interface of the Studio, and the building tools of the Designer provides a clear path through this section of the certification. If this breakdown helped, subscribe for the next video where we apply this same logic to Azure Cognitive Services.